What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are basically going to continue our coverage over Supergirl being a Red Lantern. Now, this was a storyline that took place in the New 52. Now, remember, the New 52 was just a reboot that DC did back in 2011. Now, the reboot has been reworked, redone thanks to DC Rebirth and other things after DC Rebirth. But at this point in DC Comics, this was basically a reboot. Now, with that being said, Supergirl got a Red Lantern ring only because she was at her angriest point that she ever has been in her entire New 52 life. Now, there were other moments where she was even angrier than she was now, but for the sake of the story, this was the moment where she has reached a new level of angry. And so with her reaching that new level, a Red Lantern ring had found her. Now, remember, when it comes to DC Comics, you just don't have Green Lanterns. You have Red Lanterns, Yellow Lanterns, Blue Lanterns. The list goes on and on and on. But when it comes to Red Lanterns, they represent rage, anger, hate. And so with Supergirl being so angry and hating her life and hating everything around her, the Red Lantern ring chose her and made her a Red Lantern. Now, here's the thing though. After becoming a Red Lantern, she went crazy because usually when you first receive your Red Lantern ring, you're full of rage and you go crazy. Now, the Green Lanterns, with Hal Jordan able to calm her down and take her over to Guy Gardner. Because at this point in DC Comics, Guy Gardner left the Green Lanterns and had actually joined the Red Lanterns. Now, there were different reasons why he joined the Red Lanterns. First was because to be a spy for the Green Lanterns, but on top of that, Guy felt like he no longer belonged to the Green Lantern. So he joined the Red Lanterns where he felt more welcome at. And so he had become a leader of the Red Lantern Corps. Now, right now, you do have a civil war between the Red Lantern groups because there's two different Red Lantern groups. You have the one being led by Guy Gardner, and you have the other one being led by Atrocitus. And Atrocitus is, or was, the original Red Lantern leader. And he's back right now with his own group of Red Lanterns. Now, the difference between the two Red Lantern groups is that one group is trying to be good guys while the other group is still trying to be bad guys. Either way, though, right now you have a civil war between the Red Lanterns. And Supergirl had joined Guy Gardner's group. And Guy Gardner was able to kind of help her calm down and control her rage so that she can use the Red Lantern ring properly. And so to begin today's storyline, we actually do pick up with Supergirl right now being tested by other members of the Red Lantern group that she had basically joined. Now, these other Red Lanterns are trying to see how powerful she actually is because she is Kryptonian. And you're talking about the idea of Kryptonian having a Red Lantern ring. Now, without the ring, she's already powerful. But with the ring, it does boost some of her powers just a tad bit more. Not a lot, but just a tad bit more. Either way, though, you do have these other Red Lanterns just shoot a bunch of missiles at her to see how much can she actually take when it comes to a whole set of missiles being fired upon her. And of course, she's actually able to take every single one of those missiles like it was nothing. She's all like, oh, that was it? Okay, cool. Well, I'm still here though. And so with that, it's kind of like, dang, Supergirl, how powerful are you? Now, either way, you do have the other Red Lanterns kind of like, okay, she's a very, very powerful being. It could be dangerous to have her on our team, but at the same time, she is a reliable Red Lantern to have on our team. Now, after that, you do have the other Red Lanterns basically take Supergirl to their bar. Now, this is not an actual bar that's open for business. It's really more of a bar they made to have that feel of drinking at the bar when they're actually drinking. Now, with that being said, though, they do try to give Supergirl a drink, but they are stopped by Guy Gardner. And the reason why, because the Guy Gardner, she is actually from Earth now, not from Krypton. Krypton blew up. And on Earth, she is underage, which means that she cannot drink. Now, of course, Supergirl does not like that, but for Guy Gardner, he's kind of like, who cares what you think? Now, this also shows that Guy Gardner does not like the idea of having a Kryptonian teenager who is also a Red Lantern on his team. There are so many different reasons on why that is a bad idea. And so you have Guy Gardner express his feelings by like, hey, listen, you know what? If you're going to be here, you have to follow my rules. And then he tells the other Red Lanterns plus Supergirl, let's go. We are going on patrol to make sure everything is okay. Now, while they're out on patrol, you do have Guy Gardner send Supergirl on ahead to make sure that everything is okay in their sector, so that Guy Gardner can stay behind and actually talk to the other Red Lanterns to express why he feels like having Kara on the team is actually a bad idea. Now, one of the other two Red Lanterns actually agrees with Guy Gardner, but the other one feels like they should keep Supergirl on the team because how powerful she actually is. But you have Guy Gardner tell the other two Red Lanterns that they need to keep her distracted. And the reason why, because he is about to go to Earth to talk to somebody else who may know a whole lot more about Supergirl and possibly could take her off their hands because this person is actually very close to Supergirl. And the person he's going to talk to is Superman. And that makes sense because Superman is the cousin of Supergirl. Now, this is not Guy Gardner coming straight to Superman, kind of like, hey man, listen, I got some news for you about Supergirl. Instead, what you have Guy Gardner do is that he actually helps Superman out when it comes to helping people who just went through a natural disaster. And so you do have a lot of innocent people who were affected by that. And of course, they need help. And so you do have Guy Gardner help Superman help these innocent people. Now, with that being said, Superman realized that Guy Gardner is a Red Lantern. And Superman remembers that Hal said Red Lanterns are bad. And actually, he's right, because before Guy Gardner became a Red Lantern, they were bad. They were doing a lot of bad things in DC Comics. And so for Superman, he's kind of like, a Red Lantern just helped me out. That right there does not make any kind of sense at all. But fine, whatever. Either way, that is the moment you do have Guy Gardner say, listen, the reason why I'm actually here is to talk to you about a certain problem, a certain person. And that person would be Supergirl. She did come back and she found out what Guy Gardner was actually trying to do behind her back, which was to talk to Superman. And so right now you have Kara very upset with what Guy Gardner actually did. Now, when Superman does see Supergirl being a Red Lantern, he's also ticked off. He's kind of like, excuse me, why in the world is my cousin a Red Lantern? Kara, take it off right now. Now, for Supergirl, she hates the idea of being told what to do, especially from Superman, because in the New 52, Superman and Supergirl are not that close at all. I mean, they had moments where it does seem like, okay, they're finally becoming a true family together, but then that gets ruined by the next storyline. And so right now you have Supergirl kind of tell Superman, you are not the boss of me and I'm going to do what I want to do. But then that is the moment you have Guy Gardner tell Supergirl, well, she can't even take the Red Lantern ring off. It is basically stuck on her finger forever. And as soon as she hears that right there, she does get very upset. Because now you are basically talking about the idea of her being a Red Lantern forever. And the reason why, because as soon as you get the Red Lantern ring, it basically replaces your heart. And so with that, if you do remove the Red Lantern ring, you die. Now, there is other ways to no longer be a Red Lantern. You have to find a Blue Lantern. But by this point in DC Comics, there is no Blue Lanterns. They basically have disappeared or been defeated across the universe. And so right now, she is stuck like a Red Lantern forever. And that truly does upset her a lot. And so she does begin the process of actually attacking Superman and her Red Lantern group, because now she's realizing that she's stuck forever to being a Red Lantern, something that she cannot actually handle to process. But once she's actually able to calm down, they begin the process of actually talking to her. And so you have Guy Gardner explain why he did not tell Supergirl about the ring being stuck on her finger forever. Because he's kind of like, listen, it's not an easy thing to tell somebody, oh, by the way, the ring that you're wearing, yeah, it's stuck on your finger forever. Sorry, you're out of luck. Like, it's not an easy thing to talk about. And so that was another reason why they came here to Superman, to hopefully have Superman be able to help her figure out how to actually work through this. But the problem is, though, Supergirl feels like with the adults always trying to help her, they kind of make her feel like she's just a piece of luggage that they just basically throw around to different people when new problems pop up for her left and right. But for Superman and the Red Lanterns, they're kind of like, no, we're just here to basically help you. But that is the moment you have Superman tell Supergirl, we're done. Ever since you have popped up, you have been angry every single time. You have not accepted the idea that this is your new life. I understand that basically is a hard thing to work through, but you have been here for so long now. It's time for you to actually accept where you are in life, where you are now, which is Earth. And I'm tired of always trying to talk to you and tell you that, and you don't want to listen to me. And so really, it's more Superman saying, I'm done trying to help you. You know what? If you want to be a Red Lantern so bad and be away from me forever, fine. Go with them. You are now a Red Lantern. And you have Superman tell Guy Gardner, you better protect her and you better be good role models for her. Even though you're not really good role models because you are Red Lanterns, and Hal told me that Red Lanterns were bad. At this point right now, I have no choice but to actually trust you. And so with that, go ahead, take her with you. I'm done and I'm out. Now for Guy Gardner, he's kind of like, no, I came here to basically give her to you because we don't want her on our team. But for right now, he's stuck with Supergirl on his team. And so now it's kind of like, great. What can they do next with Supergirl? Now, when the Red Lanterns arrive back to their home world, they come to find out that somebody had crashed on their home world, and that is Blease. Now, Blease is an old Red Lantern character. She has been around for a very long time. Now, remember though, in our earlier videos of Supergirl Red Lantern, her and Rancor basically went to face off against Atrocitus. And we saw that Rancor told Blease to go ahead and get away while he tried to stay behind to fight against Atrocitus. But we know he lost that battle, and it seems like Blease barely got away. But you didn't have Blease tell Guy Gardner, I was attacked by Atrocitus. Atrocitus is back, and he's coming back here to reclaim the Red Lantern Corps. And so for Guy Gardner, now he knows things are about to pop off for real. Now, getting into the second chapter of today's video, we actually pick up on the planet Grax. Now, right now, this planet is being attacked by a group of aliens known as the Diasporians. And I really hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, when it comes to the Diasporians, they are technically a race that goes around the universe attacking planets that are basically weak. And what I mean is that you have planets out there that are very strong, like the people are very strong, and they're strong enough to actually protect their planets. But you have some planets out there where the people are not that strong to protect their own planet. And so you have the Diasporians going out of their way to attack the planets that are weak to teach those people a lesson that you have to go through something really bad or experience something really bad to make yourself stronger. And so it's the Diasporians saying, let's go ahead, attack this world, wipe out a good chunk of their people to teach them a lesson and make them get stronger. And then the world will basically be more prepared for future attacks down the road from more evil people out there in the universe. It's kind of a weird way to help out a planet, but hey, That's what they do. Now, of course, while they're attacking the planet Grax, they are confronted by Supergirl and some other Red Lantern people. And so really this first section is really more of Supergirl and these other Red Lanterns protecting this planet, because this planet does fall into their sector. And so you do have Supergirl show off how powerful she is thanks to her powers and also her Red Lantern ring. But at the end of the day, they were able to actually save the day. But then we jump over to the block. Now, the block is basically a facility that is located near the core of the Earth. Now, this facility is actually run by a character known as Dr. Shea. Now, Dr. Shea has been around in the New 52 by this point for a very good time. And matter of fact, she appeared a lot of times in Superman and Supergirl comics. Either way, though, recently she had appeared in Supergirl comics, but she's also kind of the reason what led into Supergirl becoming a Red Lantern. Because the last time we saw Dr. Shea, honestly, Supergirl came to her looking for a friend to talk to. But while Supergirl was talking to Dr. Shea, well, that was the moment they were attacked by the New 52 Lobo, who was looking for Dr. Shea. But it led to a battle between Lobo and Supergirl, which of course led to her becoming a Red Lantern. Now, also, in the battle between Lobo and Supergirl, another character was basically released from their prison in the block, and that character is Blaze. Now, Blaze is a interdimensional demon. Just that right there. That's literally it. But either way, though, Blaze was locked up in the block, and she got out. And so you have Blaze just running around the block facility trying to gather information that could actually help her find Supergirl. And once you have Blaze being able to download the information, Blaze leaves the block completely. And Dr. Shea finds out what happened, that the Blaze was able to download information, but Blaze was also able to get off the block building, and now she's somewhere on Earth just running free. But then we jump back over to the Red Lanterns. Now, right now, you do have the Red Lanterns trying their best to help out their friend Blease, who was badly injured by Atrocitus. Now, while you have the Red Lanterns actually do that, you have Guy Gardner tell the other Red Lanterns to continue to watch over her, because as soon as she wakes back up, they need to know what in the world Atrocitus is actually planning to do. And on top of that, they need all the help they can when it comes to stopping Atrocitus. But you didn't have Guy Gardner wanting to talk to Supergirl, because the other Red Lanterns had told Guy Gardner what Supergirl did earlier in this chapter when it came to saving the planet from being attacked by the Disporians. Now, you do have the writer of this book, and I forgot who the writer is of this book, basically use this section as a way to kind of give us a quick reminder of everything Supergirl actually went through when it comes to the New 52. Because really, almost every single thing that Supergirl has went through in the New 52 is honestly what led up to her becoming a Red Lantern. Now, of course, she does tell Guy Gardner what she saw inside the lake, because when you become a Red Lantern, you're full of rage. But the only way to control that rage is to be thrown into the lake. And when you're thrown into the lake, your mind goes through a whole process to help you kind of overcome all the rage that you're currently feeling. And so when she was in the lake, she saw a lot of different things that had basically led up to the moment she became a Red Lantern. It was all the different things that kind of made her who she is, this angry teenager who found a Red Lantern ring. Either way, though, it is also her and Guy Gardner kind of coming to an agreement that as soon as Blease wakes up, their first goal is go out of their way to find out where Atrocitus is and stop him, but stop other people who are just like Atrocitus, who goes around hurting other people or destroying planets left and right for just the heck of it. And so this is Supergirl saying, I'm going to burn anybody who basically hurts innocent people. Now, for Guy Gardner, that's kind of a red flag right there, because it's still her showing that she's still full of anger and she wants to go out there and just destroy bad people, but not actually help bad people get better possibly. But then we actually jump back over to the Disporians. Now remember, the Disporians are the ones who go around in the universe basically attacking weak planets to hopefully make them stronger for any future attacks to come to those planets down the road. But right now you do have this group of Disporians going to their king to tell their king what happened to them on their last mission. And of course, saying that they were stopped by the Red Lanterns. The Red Lanterns basically stopped us from offering a weak planet the ability to become a strong planet. And of course, you do have these Disporians tell their king that they were also stopped by Supergirl. And so now it's the king saying, okay, listen, we have to go after her and the Red Lanterns for basically stopping us from offering us our gifts to people across the universe, the weak planets across the universe. Now, getting into the third chapter, we actually do pick up on the planet known as Primene. Now, when the planet Primene, we actually do pick up with a character known as Shiko. Now, Shiko is going to be very important for this chapter of this storyline. And the reason why, because in the past, we do see that Shiko has just been appointed as the new judge for her entire planet, which is a very great thing. And she was appointed by the king of this planet. Now, when it comes to Shiko, she was the judge for many, many years. But then it came time for her last case. And her last case was about the son of the king, Prince Karzik. And what Prince Karzik did to be put in her court is that basically he was going around being a serial killer. And with him being a serial killer, of course, he was caught and brought to her courtroom to decide what should be his punishment. Now, you had Shiko say that he deserves to be killed because he was a serial killer. The problem is, though, the king stepped in. Because this is the king's son, the king basically overruled the judge's decision and told the security guards who were working for the judge to basically kill her off. To kill off Shiko, because he was hoping that Shiko would turn a blind eye to the prince. But of course, for Shiko, she's kind of like, no, I was appointed to be put in this position to give justice to this planet. Why in the world would I give a blind eye just because he is the prince? He went around killing people. He was a serial killer. Either way, though, you had the king step in and you had the king tell the security guards to shoot and kill Shiko. And she is shot right there in the chest. But then we jump back over to the Red Lanterns. Now, right now, you do have the Red Lanterns talking to Bleece. Now, remember, Bleece was able to escape from Atrocitus, the original leader of the Red Lanterns. But she did get away and was able to find the good group of Red Lanterns, which of course being led by Guy Gardner. But she does tell Guy Gardner, listen, Atrocitus is back and he does have a Red Lantern ring. Now that right there is actually very important. And the reason why, because Atrocitus had actually lost his ring, but he was able to get another ring because another Red Lantern had lost his ring. And so with that other Red Lantern losing his ring, it gave Atrocitus the ability to get a Red Lantern ring again. Now, you also have Bleece tell Guy Gardner and to also kind of tell us that basically before Guy Gardner has showed up as a Red Lantern, Atrocitus made 9 new Red Lantern rings. That right there is actually very important because it was Atrocitus trying to build up his numbers by adding 9 more Red Lanterns. Now, one of those rings were already found by somebody that Atrocitus had already recruited. Another one went to Supergirl. So that means there are still 7 other rings out there in the universe right now traveling around. And so basically it's up to Guy Gardner and his Red Lanterns to go out there and find the other 7 Red Lantern rings before Atrocitus does. Because if Atrocitus finds the other 7 and those people who got those 7 Red Lantern rings, he'll have an army that can wipe out Guy Gardner's group. And so it's Guy saying, listen, You guys were able to turn this planet into a big red lantern. Hopefully, you're able to kind of use this planet to be some kind of device to locate other red lanterns across the universe. Once you do that, let's go out there and find the other 7 red lanterns. And so that right there is actually very important. Now, you do have Bleach wanting to go, but you have Guy Gardner tell her, no, you cannot go. And that is the moment you have Guy Gardner calling Supergirl. And the reason why, because it's Guy Gardner saying, listen, right now you are badly injured. You're in no way able to actually help us defeat Atrocitus or any other Red Lanterns of his. So I'm going to have you stay here and I'm going to have Supergirl basically watch over you. Now, Bleach never met Supergirl. And so to Bleach, she's kind of like, I don't know who this new Red Lantern is, but she can't stop me that easily. But that is the moment you have Bleach find out who is Supergirl. Like, hey, she's Kryptonian. She's strong. You can't just push her that easily. Like, basically, you're stuck here. And she's going to make sure you do stay here so that you don't get any kind of trouble. And so with that, you have Guy Gardner and the other Red Lanterns leave to find the other 7 Red Lanterns out in the universe. But then we jump back over to Shiko. Now remember, Shiko was just shot in the chest. And so we were left to believe that basically she had died. But we come to find out, no, Shiko did not die. Matter of fact, Shiko was basically saved by a Red Lantern ring, which means that one of those 7 Red Lantern rings out in the universe just found its new person to become a Red Lantern with. And so with that being said, you have the ring decide to say, Shiko, you are going to be the new host of this ring. You are now a Red Lantern. Let's go. Now remember, the first time you become a Red Lantern, that very first moment, you're full of rage. Because again, Red Lanterns stand for rage, hatred, anger. And so with that, as soon as she gets the ring, Shiko goes crazy. She kills off the prince and the king because of what they did. One being a serial killer and the other one portraying the idea of justice. Then you have Shiko kill off the Watchers, which of course kind of like the people who make sure everything runs smoothly in the courtroom, but also on the entire planet. But either way, you have Shiko just go ahead and kill them off as well. Because again, they all fail the justice system. But on top of that, with her having a Red Lantern ring, she's now just pure hatred. Anger. She's full of it, and she's going on a rampage. Now, getting back over to Kara, aka Supergirl, we do see her right now watching over Bleach. Now, at first, it does look like 2 ladies who don't like each other because they just met and, of course, are giving each other attitude. But either way, they both realize that the other person in themselves needs a friend. Definitely for Supergirl. She's been looking for a friend this entire series. And yes, she did have other friends in the earlier books of New 52 Supergirl, but for her sake, every time she makes a friend, they end up leaving her or she messed things up, and so she leaves them or they die. And so with that, it's kind of like, okay, here is another attempt for her to have a friend. Yes, it is Bleach, but maybe, just maybe, they could be friends. But then we get another page that shows us that the Red Lanterns were able to basically make some kind of tracking device to help them track down the other 7 Red Lanterns, which of course they say, hey, we found one and we should go there right now because that Red Lantern ring just found its host. And of course that means that Red Lantern is right now full of rage. We have to go out there to help that Red Lantern come to its senses, because if we don't, it is just going to go around and kill a lot of people in its path. Now, you do have Guy Gardner take every single one of his Red Lanterns to where the Red Lantern, of course, would be Shikor, is located at. Now, with that being said, though, the reason why he brought Bleach is because he realized he can't have Supergirl babysit Bleach because he might need Supergirl's abilities to actually help him calm down this new Red Lantern. Now, here comes the big problem, though, because when they do arrive at the planet that Shiko is actually from, they see that Shiko did some heavy damage to the area. Like, this planet has been hit hard. And so with that, you kind of have the Red Lanterns wondering, okay, how bad could this Red Lantern actually be? Now, at the same time, they do get attacked by the people of the planet. And the reason why, because, well, Chico is a Red Lantern right now. She's wearing a Red Lantern outfit. And so she's going around basically causing a lot of damages and deaths. And so in their eyes, it's kind of like, oh, you guys must be bad guys as well. Now, you do have the people apologize once you have Guy Gardner say, hey, we're good guys, we're here to help out. What's going on here? And you have one of the guys say, listen, one of your people, of course, Chico, has been going around killing golf people left and right who have basically failed the justice system. But on top of that, we were also scared of you guys because you're not the first ones to come here. 2 other Red Lanterns had arrived as well. And of course, it is Atrocitus and another Red Lantern who basically came here to recruit Chico. And so now we could possibly see Atrocitus group fight against Guy Gardner's group to see who can actually recruit Chico to join their Red Lantern group. But that will be in the next video. So with that being said, I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. And if you did, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.